Okay, this should be the beginning. Yeah, it's the beginning. Okay, so thank you very much for this opportunity. It was actually a request by Aya that specifically said, let's hear what you've been cooking in the last few months. And indeed, I've been cooking. Most of you know that I provide face-to-face training regularly for 21 years. A lot of people have been through my training room in the evolving versions that it has. And so my tradition is to do face-to-face as much as possible. And I still believe that it is the most effective way of delivering training. However, although I had this plan for 2020 up, and it accounts for 16 training courses, I only did this one, the advanced biostatistics, because in the meantime, on top of being away from my job for 8 months because of health problem, then I came home from hospital and I found that I was beginning a pandemic crisis with all the implications that it has. So this plan has been ruined. I can put a cross on it for several reasons, and I'm going to explain you why. So basically, we came to a complete stop from March to October. The next course will take place in October. And we have to face the pandemic-related restrictions for face-to-face, which are, in very concrete terms, reducing the training room capacity to half. So only 10 learners in, and instructors, of course, but 10 learners. We are unable to fly in instructors and learners, and my training program is very international. We don't have so many instructors in Portugal, so I depend a lot on people's ability to travel. And it's not only here the restriction. Many people are not allowed by their universities to leave and fly somewhere else. So our model also became financially unsustainable. I have a financial model that depends on organizing a certain number of courses with external participants, and they pay a fee. And if I don't get this fee, I cannot sustain my operation. So immediately in March, I figured out that I need to change my offering. So I started listing what changes could or would be needed. And the starting one was a bit surprising for me, because there I saw no difference in the perceived needs from audiences, but their behavior became different. They are no longer interested in long courses, multi-day or 5 days courses. They are much more reluctant to go for that, and they would go for shorter courses and cheaper. Also, I saw the need to diversify the delivery modes, meaning that I cannot do face-to-face. What should I do? I can do online. I can do mixed mode, online and face-to-face, with some people that are allowed in the room. That's a possibility, but it needs to be studied and it needs to be sustainable. Okay. I would need to modify the course design so that they have shorter sessions, because online, for those who have been sitting on the learner side of the online, they know that it implies that you look at the screen for a long number of hours, and before anything else, before you losing attention, you lose most of your eyesight and you get fatigue. So that's not what we want in learning. We don't want fatigue. We would also need to modify the evaluation, in the sense that our formative assessments need to be redesigned so that we can have people that are not in our presence, so we cannot establish one-to-one dialogues. And most more difficult is to establish group dialogues that are fruitful and that allow us to see, as we do in face-to-face, more or less correctly who is learning and who is not, who is staying behind and needs correction. So I also found that I need to improve my local supply of technical things, servers and so on. And I would definitely look very carefully into the materials and make them more modular so that they are reusable in several courses. So I had to establish priorities because I cannot solve these things. I work alone. Most people know that. So I couldn't not tackle all these things in one go. So I looked first at creating the design alternatives of this online and mixed mode, and even some e-learning. I would felt the need to learn more about distance learning techniques and keeping interaction. You will see at the end that I took a course on that. I need to learn more about audio and video capture, recording and production. This is I found it's of capital importance because most people get distracted because of the low quality and because of breaks in the transmissions, like they have been happening every now and then, even in this meeting. In a meeting, it's not so serious, but in a course, it's very serious. If, for example, we go without sound for a while. So I decided that the priority would be to build a mini studio, and I will show you what it is. And I can provide useful tips and even cost estimates. I also consider the priority that I could merge what I know about virtualization of learning environments with other virtualization that is needed, for example, for providing services in the training room. And finally, at the bottom of the priority is the design of e-learning materials that I think that it's not at my reach with the level of manpower that I can provide. So to be concrete about what the studio is, so basically you can see very schematically that there is a switcher, which is basically something that in a studio connects camera A, camera B, mixed with a screen from a computer. So and the professional quality cameras are now in general HDMI connected. So also the professional sound level needs very good microphones and an audio interface that also connects to this switcher. And all this can go to a streaming device, which is also very handy, but it's a bit expensive and difficult to use. So finally, so what is new in these challenges? Responding to increased demand for shorter and cheaper courses. Microlearning is a possibility. I'm doing lots of one-to-one tutorials for free. Reducing online time, increasing offline homework to total the same level of formative time, and connecting feedback in a different way, and increasing participant attention and engagement by improving on the quality of the audio and video and robust streaming without interruptions. And I leave you with this list of courses that I attended as a learner. So I did a very simple and quick course in LinkedIn that I recommend to anyone that does online teaching. I did this one in Monash University in Australia. That is a course about keeping interactivity, which is in my case what makes it very, very different from providing learning at the level of lectures. So if you have interaction, you have people with keyboards and mice, and it's quite different. And finally, I'm making at a very low pace a Coursera course on MOOCs. And that's all I have to share with you.